So, if I asked you to say goodnight to, well, to nobody tonight, would you feel like you were losing your mind or maybe finally finding some peace?
I mean, it sounds a little wild at first.
Right, it does. But it turns out Margaret Wise Brown's Goodnight Moon, and specifically with those really detailed illustrations by Saul McGull, isn't just some, simple bedtime story.
No, not at all.
In this exploration into the source material, we're looking at it as an actual, highly sophisticated psychological manual for grounding.
Yeah, because the Great Green Room acts as this sort of data dump for the day.
Exactly, helping you transition from a completely cluttered mind to total silence.
Right. It's a literal inventory of a life.
Yeah.
Before you can let go and drift off, you have to account for every single thing in your environment.
Like a mental checklist?
Basically, yeah. You are performing what I'd call a structural audit of your reality. Because you really can't reach a state of rest if your brain is still, subconsciously tracking loose ends.
Okay, but let's look at the actual items in this audit. I mean, you've got a telephone, a red balloon, a picture of a cow jumping over the moon.
It is quite the mix.
It feels like a totally random junk drawer. If we're talking about grounding the reader, why prioritize a plastic toy and a nursery rhyme over, say, the physical sensation of the bed sheets or the temperature of the room?
Well, that's because the mind of a child, and honestly, your mind too, when you're really tired, doesn't distinguish between the functional and the whimsical.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I mean, the telephone is this modern tool of connection, right? But the cow jumping over the moon is a tool of imagination.
Okay, I see.
By putting them on the exact same level, the book creates a bridge. It tells your brain that everything in your world, whether it's a piece of tech or a dream, is currently safe, it's accounted for, and exactly where it should be.
Wow, so it's like the room is a computer desktop cluttered with 20 different open windows. And this inventory is essentially the force quit command for your brain.
I love that analogy. Yes, exactly.
Because you see the three bears on chairs, the kittens, the mittens, the toy house, and the mouse. It's this series of curated pairings. But then right in the middle, we meet the quiet old lady whispering hush.
Right. She's fascinating.
She's just sitting there.
She's the regulator. I mean, she isn't an active participant in the room's play. Her only role is to manage the atmosphere.
Just lowering the energy in the room.
Precisely. She represents the shift from the doing of the day to the being of the night. She's essentially the personification of a lowered heart rate.
That makes so much sense. But the real shift happens when the book stops just lifting things. It moves into the active ritual, like Goodnight Room, Goodnight Moon.
We go from the huge down to the tiny.
Right, from the moon down to the clocks, the socks, the comb, the brush. But then we get to the mush. Goodnight mush.
Ah, yes, the mush.
I really have to push back here. Why are we fixating on a bowl of cold, unappetizing cereal right before sleep? Just feels gross.
It does, but the mush is actually the most vital part of the protocol.
Wait, how?
It's the unfinished business. By acknowledging the mush, the unglamorous, messy leftovers of the day, you stop your brain from looping over them at 3 a.m.
Oh, wow. So it's a closure mechanism.
Exactly. You're saying, I see the mess, I see the mundane, and I am filing it away as complete.
So if you only say goodnight to the pretty things, like the balloon.
Right. Then your brain stays awake worrying about the mush you ignored.
That is wild. And that brings us to the line that always gives me chills. Goodnight, nobody.
It's such a striking moment in the book.
What is the psychological mechanism there? Why would you address the absolute absence of things?
Well, that is the peak of the grounding exercise. Once you've named every object, you have to acknowledge the space between the objects.
The emptiness itself.
Right, because if you don't acknowledge the nobody, the silence of the room can feel like a threat, like an emptiness that might swallow you.
So by naming it, by saying goodnight nobody, you reclaim the void.
You're making the silence a choice rather than something that's just, happening to you.
It's like the room is actively expanding. We go from nobody to the stars in the air, and finally, good night noises everywhere.
Yeah, it's almost like the book is daring you to find something it hasn't covered.
And by naming the noises everywhere, you strip them of their power to startle you.
Exactly. If a floorboard creaks or the wind blows, you've already checked that box. You've accepted that the world is full of sound.
Which allows you to finally stop listening for danger.
It's a total surrender to the environment.
So we've moved from a room full of stuff to a universe full of air, making the world feel small enough to handle, yet big enough to just disappear into.
It's a beautiful reminder that sleep isn't a passive event. It's a transition you navigate by being fully present with your surroundings.
The tangible, the messy, and even the invisible.
Exactly right.
Well, to wrap up our exploration today, think about your own great green room tonight. If you had to say goodnight to the nobody or the noises everywhere in your life right now, would it make your world feel smaller and safer or uncomfortably empty?